The market continues to pull back and test the pivot. Did it pass the test? This is Invest with Jacob. Okay, guys, so in yesterday's video, and quite frankly, since the middle of last week, I've been telling you that since we hit the 1, 2, 3, 6 on the ES, we need to pull back and test the pivot, and that's exactly what we saw. The market fell down into the pivot and actually poked through by a couple of points. Now the question is, did the pivot hold? I'll get into that in just 1 second, but first, if you're new here, welcome to the show, guys. My name is Jacob Gabbard, and this is Invest with Jacob, where we use Elliott Wave Theory to break down the SP 500 and the NASDAQ. I highly encourage you to hit that subscribe button down below so that you can get our daily S&P updates, our trade setups, and our buy alerts. All right, guys, with the move down yesterday, we were all over it at the open. As you can see on the screen, we got in right after the open and wrote it down for a nice trade. And now the question is, where do we go from here? So let's jump into the chart and take a look. Okay, guys, so here we are on the 1-hour futures chart for the S&P 500. If you'd like a bigger picture view, go check out my video from Tuesday of this week, as I did a big picture overview in that video. But as we've been talking about since back here when they hit the 1, 2, 3, 6 on Thursday or so of last week, Wednesday, Thursday in this area, I've been saying they need to come back and test the 44.69 to 49 area. And that's exactly what we saw as the market pulled back down into that area and gave us a bounce toward the end of the day. So one of the things I talked about in yesterday's video is why the bull count is not a slam dunk. And one of the big reasons is this counts best as 3 waves to me. Okay, and then you get a wave 2, and then you get this move up. So when you have a 3-wave move, that's not impulsive, and that's not what you'd be looking for a continuation in the bull pattern. However, with the break of the bear pivot, it did give us the inclination and the hit of the 1, 2, 3, 6 that we would be pushing higher toward the 45.65 area. Now, that can still happen, but they did break the pivot, even though it was only by 2 points. That does matter. It doesn't mean they can't go to 45.65. It means that it probably or most likely won't be impulsive. And that kind of matches up with what we're looking at here, as well as on the NASDAQ when we switch over to the NASDAQ here in just a minute. But overall, we would look at this as wave 1 playing out as a diagonal if they're going to continue to the upside. So then you would have A, B, C for 1, A, B, C for 2, A, B, C for 3, A, B, C for 4, and then you'd look for an A, B, C for 5 up toward that 4,600 area to complete the overall move. Then, of course, when diagonals end, you would look for a very sharp retrace back to about the 4,400 area. So that would be what we'd look at from the bull perspective. And the only reason I'm giving the bulls the benefit of the doubt, even though they broke the pivot, because the pivot is a static number. It's not a support where you're like, okay, they held. It is a number that they need to hold above the exact number. These fibs are important, and the pivot is especially important. So the only reason I'm giving the bulls the benefit of the doubt is we do have a daily cross on the MACD, which is very powerful and very bullish right now. We have the NASDAQ that looks much better than this overall for an upside potential. So there's a few reasons to look to the upside, but it's no slam dunk by any stretch of the imagination. And the only reason, the big reason, I guess I should say, that I'm not shifted into the bearish count fully is that this is just a really ugly pattern off of the top. If you drill down into the 5-minute, this is a pretty clear 3-wave structure down. Okay, and then you get the bounce, and then you get this. So far it's counting best as a 3-wave move. If they were going to continue and finish this move, you would want to see them hold it under 44.76. The kind of line in the sand here is 44.85. Above that, and this can't be a wave 4, shouldn't be a wave 4, just too high. So we want to see them between 44.76 and 44.85 come up and then turn down and make another low. If they can do that, I'll get on board more with the bear case. At that point, we'd look for an A, B, C up for a wave 2 of C, and then a 3, 4, and 5 of C down toward that 42.50 area that we've been talking about as the alternate count. Again, the biggest issue I have to the downside is this count, or this move down right here, was pretty clearly 3 waves, and that makes it very difficult for me to see this as a C wave going down just yet. They're going to have to prove it to me overall before I get on board. So my overall primary count is that we will still try to push higher. However, another move down here from the bears to give us 5 down, or a 5th wave down anyway, would be an indication that we are trying to make the C wave down to 42.50. But until then, I am looking for them to try to continue to the upside. Over on the NASDAQ, okay, the NASDAQ is a little cleaner than the ES. It is much easier to see the pattern on here in a pretty clear corrective way on the way down. You have basically an A, B, C to the downside for an A wave. Then you got a B wave up, and then you've got a nicer looking C wave down. They would still need kind of a 4 or 5 here. They don't have to have that. They came right down into the 15,300 level like we would expect. But a 4 or 5 would look better to complete this move, and then up from there. But the NASDAQ has not broken the pivot. The NASDAQ has also hit the almost exact target we put out. We said 15,300. It got to 15,311. Okay, and it bounced from there. So the NASDAQ needs to hold under 15,390 to 15,415 to make this a wave 4 bounce. We'd want to see that, and then that to complete the move. They still need to hold the pivot. If the NASDAQ breaks the pivot, then we'll get more on board again with that move to the downside. But they need to hold the pivot, and then we would look for the NASDAQ to move up toward that 16,000 level. That would be the bullish count. The bears, of course, want to complete this move down. They want to have a 4 or 5 here. The biggest issue I have, though, is that this move down right here is very clearly a 3-wave move. So unless they're going to morph this into some kind of diagonal, it does not look great for a C wave to the downside, which is what you would which is impulsive, which means you would expect 5 waves off of the top, and this gives you 3 and then overlaps here on this move up. So the setup overall isn't abundantly clear yet, but we did hold the pivot in the NASDAQ. You do have a bullish cross on the MACD. You do have a more bearish, or I should say corrective pattern here on the NASDAQ to the downside, which would lead me to believe higher. So my overall primary count on both charts should be that we are looking higher, 16,000 or so after a couple of waves up on the NASDAQ, and 4,600 or so after a couple waves up on the ES. Guys, if you love the information I put out in these videos and you want real-time market updates from me, you need to check out investwithjacob.com. There's a link down in the description. Go ahead and click that link. It'll take you right to the website. And once you're there, check out our membership plans area. We have 2 incredible plans, and they both come with a 7-day free trial because I want you to get in there. I want you to make sure you love it and become part of my trading team before you ever spend a penny. You can cancel at any time. We also have our Elliott Wave for Beginners course. As you can see from the testimonials on the screen, this is helping real traders make real money and understand the market in ways they never thought possible. Instead of seeing the news and seeing positive news make the market go down and negative news make the market go up, they truly understand what market sentiment is and how price action works and how those targets come to life. It's a 25 video course where I walk you through 3 different parts. First is the introduction, where I explain how mindset works, how Elliott Wave Theory is, and what the expectations should be, and why it works. Then we go through the chart setup and tools, where I go through every single tool you need to use on your chart, along with Elliott Wave Theory, as well as the Elliott Wave for Beginners portion, where we go through each Elliott Wave, how they break down, what their targets are, when they fail, when they confirm, and how they're supposed to look. As I said, it is helping traders finally understand the market and understand its movements and how to trade it. The really cool part is it does come with both of my monthly memberships. So if you don't want to buy the course, you can become a monthly member, and the course is included for free. In our first room, the Invest with Jacob room, you get all of my real-time market updates, all of my buy and sell alerts, all of your Elliott Wave questions answered, a midday video where I go over exactly where we are in the counts and what to expect, as well as the training material you just saw. We trade the SPY and the QQQ, and we swing trade, which means our trades last anywhere from a few days to a few months. So we don't trade quite as often as a day trading room. However, if you are interested in day trading, you need to check out PT's Throne Room. In there, you get everything you get in the Invest with Jacob room, as well as individual stocks, day trading, and PT's reduced risk binary method that absolutely crushes the market. He gets you in at a cheap price and gets you big multiples on your money, and it's how he structures the trade that's so unique. It's something you really have to see to understand, and that's another reason we give you that 7-day free trial. He also started a challenge account where he put $4,000 into an account trading mini ES futures, showing how to build a small account into a large retirement or savings account. Guys, we would love to have you in these rooms so we can make money together. Key takeaways for today. We are looking for the bulls to get it back over 44.85. If they can do that, they can continue to push. Up past 45.04 would lead us to look at the 45.85 area next, then a pullback, then 46 plus, 100 plus after that. For the bears, they want to keep it under 45.85 and give us another low. Then we'd look for a wave 2 bounce and then the start down in that move towards 42.50. And at that point, the bulls really need to hold the bigger pivot. Over on the NASDAQ, we do have a cleaner structure and setup where the NASDAQ did hold the pivot. It held at the price we were looking for and started to bounce. And now the bulls need to push up over the 15,415 area. If they can do that and then break 15,468, we would look for them to push up toward the 16,000 area after that. Guys, that is the market update for today. I'll talk to you tomorrow.